My heart is full, and I just took a bite of the candy, so I don't mind if you are wrestling the papers and taking a bite. Even though my heart is full in this moment, I'm going to add a little bit more, just a few words of teaching this evening. Whether you consider yourself a cook or not, you've probably seen the most simple recipe that goes like this. Just add water. There is something miraculous about those three little words. You just add water, and what was hard becomes soft. What was dry becomes moist. What seems lifeless comes to life again with one simple step. Dissolving. The substance returns to a natural flowing state, transforming into a fluid state of being. It doesn't just work scientifically. It's an incredible spiritual concept as well. In fact, we have an ancient biblical recipe that involves spiritual transformation in water. We are first introduced to water, as you know, as an element in creation, formed in both the sky and the sea. Water flows through the Garden of Eden as a source of life and everlasting renewal. In the book of Genesis, Abraham and Sarah welcome divine beings to their tent by drawing water from a well to wash their travelers' feet. Of course, in the book of Exodus, it is the sea that doesn't just divide, but transforms the enslaved Israelites into a free people. In the end of Exodus and in the book of Leviticus, the priests begin to use water in rituals of purity and sanctification in their devotion to God. Water has become the most essential ingredient in the recipe of life itself. The Torah refers to these waters of life as Mayim Chaim, ever-living waters. Our sages taught that our natural waters, whether rushing streams or gentle rain, trace their roots, all of them, every single drop, to the Garden of Eden itself. Immersing in these waters connects a person to the primordial source of life, restoring a state of spiritual innocence, like that of Adam and Eve before they ate from the tree of knowledge and life became much more complicated. According to Jewish law, certain threshold moments require immersion in Mayim Chaim, most commonly converting to Judaism or preparing for a wedding, a Shabbat or a holy day, and most traditionally, immersing after a period of menstruation, pregnancy, illness, or to regain a state of spiritual purity. Today, Jews still go to the shores of these flowing bodies of natural water, but many immerse in a pool of water that's called a mikvah, water that is gathered inside of a building that has been gathered from one of these natural sources. The Bnei Yisachar, Rabbi Tzvi Elimelech of Dinov of the 18th century, taught that the entire period and month of Elul that we just entered this week, and the 10 days of awe, a total of 40 days before the end of Yom Kippur, he calls a mikvah in time, a period of spiritual cleansing and renewal. Just as the high priest immersed himself in a mikvah before entering the Holy of Holies, we too can participate in a ritual of mikvah to purify ourselves, reconnect with our inner being, and prepare to meet God for the new year. This means that each of us can treat this period of Elul, this current Jewish month and the High Holy Days, as if we are immersing in the mikvah. So ask yourself, what layers do I need to shed? How can I remove the spiritual dirt that has accumulated this year to uncover my most beautiful, authentic self? What heaviness is ready to dissolve? What would it feel like to return to my most natural state of flow? The amazing thing is that we not only have the opportunity to do this spiritual work as an intellectual, soul-searching exercise. Here in Boston, we can physically and easily immerse in the waters of the mikvah. I don't think I'm too biased to say that locally, right down the street, right down Washington Street, right past Newton Wellesley Hospital on the campus of Temple Re'im and Hebrew College is one of the most beautiful modern mikvaot ever built. Aptly, it is named Mayim Chaim. And it was founded by a local author, Anita Diamond, you may know from the author of The Red Tent, 21 years ago. She founded it to be a welcoming, pluralistic, communal, ritual, and educational space for all in the Jewish community, or all seeking to be a part of Jewish life. I have been on the board of Mayim Chaim, disclaimer, for 7 years, with several of our dedicated congregants. I'm looking around to see if any of our board member congregants are here. And we also have the pleasure, full disclosure, of partnering with bride-to-be Michaela, who is Mayim Chaim's Director of Administration. So if I have piqued your interest at all, you can come find me or Michaela anytime because we are huge fans of Mayim Chaim. So I have been so inspired by the ritual of mikvah over the years that this summer, when I had the opportunity to serve on faculty of one of our area Jewish overnight camps, Crane Lake Camp, see if we can get a beautiful picture of Crane Lake, I was asked to teach an elective to teens to explore any Jewish topic. I decided that learning about mikvah was one of the most important and lesser-known rituals to add to a teenage Jewish toolkit. Interestingly, after learning about water first as a ritual for welcome, we discussed too the text of Abraham and Sarah washing their guests' feet. I titled the lesson Mikvah 101, Let's Dip Our Toes In. And the teens dwelled on this lesson, asking the questions, what makes water Mayim Chaim, according to Jewish law? And they also came up with many meaningful moments of transformation and renewal that they could think of to give someone the opportunity to visit the mikvah. Preparation for a bar or bat mitzvah, overcoming a sickness, celebrating a birthday, starting on a new journey, surviving trauma, healing after a divorce, or welcoming a new life into their family. These teens understood that all of these moments could be made holier and more intentional, not by jumping in a swimming pool or taking a shower or soaking in a bathtub, as refreshing as those might feel, but by immersing in waters that take us back to creation. And then the teens asked, as if they were well practiced in the study of Talmud and Jewish law, just how holy or naturally flowing does the water actually have to be? I said, what do you mean? And one of them said, what about water from a natural source that is bottled like Poland Springs? And the teens debated this answer on their own, thinking, and they were right, no, for who is to say that bottled water actually is from the source? In fact, the water can't be drawn or it can't be treated, taking it away from its original source, which could change its composition and certainly its intention for use. And then one teen asked the most beautiful question of all. She said, "What about human tears? Can tears be Mayim Chaim?" We had to pause for a moment, first to catch our breaths after such a poignant question, and then to look it up. And we learned that no, our tradition doesn't categorize human bodily fluid as an original source of Mayim Chaim. However, I think the teens were on to something greater here. When we are so open that our tears flow freely, we are already immersed. To weep is to be vulnerable, to dissolve, to return to our truest self with great humility. And so we carried this discussion with us to the shores of Crane Lake, and I asked the teens what feelings they might like to dissolve, what new horizon they might like to step into, what pain they'd like to let go of, what new hope they'd like to welcome. And then I gave them the choice of whether they wanted to fully immerse and jump in the lake, or take turns drawing water from the Mayim Chaim to simply pour over one another's hands or feet. And one by one, they lifted the kos netilat yadayim, the ritual cup, and washed each other's hands and feet. The sun sparkled over the water, their laughter mixed with the lapping of the water on the shore. And my own tears, though not officially Mayim Chaim, flowed freely like the waters of Eden. And so I want to invite you, let this month of Elul be your mikvah. Whether it be by joining our partnership class, The Well at TBE, with Hannah Carney and Mayim Chaim that starts next Wednesday night, or taking your own spiritual path. Step in. Let the waters of this season hold you. Breathe and dissolve. Let go. Let the waters return you to your truest, most beautiful, and most authentic self. Sometimes all it takes to transform a life is just to add a little water. Shabbat shalom.